Hey gang, Coach Ed here, and welcome to the Ed Fordyce Real Estate Advocate Show. Today I have another great guest, my friend, another coaching partner. Again, just like the other guests, like a lot of descriptive words I could talk about our relationship. But my friend Jim Bernardine, welcome to the show, Jimbo.
Thanks, Ed. Honored.
It's great to have you here. So this series is. We talk about questions that matter. And I find it, something that's really important is that usually we talk about resumes and numbers and that, and we'll get into a little bit of that maybe, but so that the community gets to know you as a human being and questions that matter. So let's just start with like family, man. Let's start there. Tell us about your family.
All right. So if I married my soulmate, married her late in life, though we actually dated in junior high, dated in high school, dated after high school. We just ran similar paths, but we just could never seem to make it work. I was just assumed that the timing wasn't right. We have 4 great kids together, a nice blended family, and we just have fun doing it. It's a challenge every day you wake up, but it's a fun challenge.
Very cool. Dogs?
Oh, yeah, we got a dog named Elvis. Yep, because he ain't nothing but a hound dog.
That's so cool. So the second question that matters, and we're gonna get back to part of your family in a little bit, but what drives you? Like, what gets you up in the morning? What keeps you going? When your battery is nearing, the end, do you look at that sort of pulls you, as Anthony Robbins says, rather than pushing you, what pulls you?
There you go. Probably the biggest pull I have in my life is my wife. I mean, she's my rock. I mean, I want to say I look up to her, but the inspiration there to try to create a nice family life, that's probably my biggest one. Obviously, our kids are awesome, so that's a big drive as well. I'm also driven by service. Like, I love servicing people. I'm a deal junkie in some ways, but at the end of the day, if I'm going to fall in any direction, it's service. I mean, I just really am truly gifted to help people out. It's where it makes me feel good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm going to get back to that too. So our story, we were talking a little bit about it before the show, but I love to go over this about how did we meet? And so let's hear about that. How did we meet?
All right, so kind of a crazy story how I met. My wife went to interview you or with you at Keller Williams, and you were a team leader over there. And I think she went to interview for a Dickerman position. I'm not really sure exactly which one it was. Mm-hmm. And you guys sat down together. Actually, I think you ate some fire while you were there as well. you blew her mind of what an amazing human being you are. And at the end of the interview, you said, you know something, I can't let you interview with that person. This is not going to work out. You need to go somewhere else. And she came home with the book and was just so blown away by who Ed Fordyce was. It was just a crazy story. And I think the next weekend you showed up at one of my open houses.
Yeah.
And we've been kindred souls ever since.
Yeah. And when I'm reminded, my brain keeps it in. And I think I had done like a quick assessment and realized there's no way that a team is going to work here. There's no way. Just an independent thinker, totally driven. It just wasn't a match. Yeah, Some people are a match for a team, others aren't. Yeah, and then I don't think I realized that you two were a couple, and I was stalking you like a good recruiter does. And I remember our conversation was about fitness, and because you were a power lifter, I believe.
Yep, power lifter. I've done some bodybuilding. I was a professional soccer player. I've done some boxing. I've trained in karate. You name it. I've kind of been all over the place. But fitness has always been a big driving force in my life. I have a lot of energy, and I need to get it out.
Yeah. So very cool. So a couple of things that I admire about you is, and you said it, like, you and Michelle and your life. And I really, really, really admire that. And would love to hear, if you're up for it, a little bit about your mom and like the legacy that you're carrying I guess you could call it that, the legacy that you're carrying, in memory of your mom. So just maybe talk briefly about that.
Yeah, so she was a realtor for 33 years, just loved the business, and just kind of funny, she was a buyer's agent. I mean, pure buyer's agent. She hated listings. I mean, she took listings when people had houses to sell and had a few listings here and there, but she was the perfect buyer's agent. She loved driving people around, taking them out to lunch, just flirting around with them. Just that was her thing. And she was just such a strong, kind woman. I mean, again, one of my inspirations in my life. I mean, and my wife is kind of similar to her. It's kind of funny how you marry your mom in some ways. But for years, she kept telling me, you should get your real estate license. You should get your license. I'm like, no, because I love construction. I love creating things with my hands. It's definitely a strong passion for me. And, I ended up getting licensed before I ever really practiced real estate. She bought a house in Charleston, South Carolina. And she wanted to be able to go away. And I'm like, whatever, you go away. I can handle your business, whatever. I can take the phone calls, because you really should be licensed to be able to handle that. And, as the strong Italian mother does, she just sucks you in, right? And, the market got really, really changed in 2008, 2009. I got burned out from construction, and I decided my next passion was going to be to jump into real estate. So I did go to Weicker for a little while. I mean, that's where she spent her entire career from the time she started until she passed away. And I didn't last very long there. It's kind of an old model. And we were going to bring her over to Keller Williams when we got recruited over there. And but yeah, I mean, almost everything I do in my life, including this real estate piece, is driven by what she taught me and how she lived her life.
Yeah.
Just an amazing soul.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love when you share that. I love to see the emotion in your eyes and just the admiration and just, how lucky those of us that have had, great moms in our life. It's a beautiful thing. The second thing and I could talk about that, and I know you're going to be setting up like some cool things in her name, and we've talked about that over the years. So I can't wait to, be a part of helping you grow that as well. The second thing that I admire most about you, and this is a common thread, by the way, that I'm seeing in great business owners, not just because although it's the Ed Fordyce Real Estate Advocate Show, it's not just for real estate agents or owners. It's for business owners, really. But this goes through like the willingness to help other people and other real estate agents or other business owners, or even me. It's like, hey, what can I do today to help you push your business forward? So like, where does that come from? Like, where's that? Not everybody has that. And especially in and around the real estate world, a lot of, are like, no way, this is my secret. I'm not helping you. You are my competition. So were you born with that? Did you get it from your mom? Did you develop it? Or
I would say I was probably born with it, but definitely a strong piece of that came from my mother, and a strong piece of it came from my mother's father. He was born in Italy, and he owned a bus terminal and like a kind of like a 5 and dime store in Saratoga Springs. And we spent a lot of time up there when we were kids. And what an amazing human being. I mean, Depression era guy. But I mean, the way he serviced and the way he was able to help people, I mean, was amazing. And my mother had that gift. And I mean, I don't think I have 10% of what her gift was. But at the same time, I feel like that's what I do too. But yeah, I pretty much learned it through my family.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'll tell you, I don't know about you, and I hope that, anybody that, I think it's so important for the consumer as well as the community to know a little bit about the people that are out there doing what they do, and to know that your roots are deep, and that, who you are matters. And like Simon Sinek, right? It's not what we do, it's why we do it. I think it's really important that the consumer and the community know why we do, what drives us, where we came from, as well as like anyone that I interview is going to be at the top of their game, and you're at the top of your game in the real estate sales world, in the wholesaling world now, that I'm trying to learn a little bit from you with that. and now moving into some really cool funnel building and sales funnels and stuff. So your willingness to help other people and grow. So wrapping up, is there any question that I should ask you or should have asked you that really matters to you that I didn't ask?
I guess I want to go back to the fact that, like, I'm very service oriented. I mean, in fact, the wholesaling you touched on, the reason what drove me towards the wholesaling is a lot of times the wholesaling situation is someone has a pain point, whether it's an inheritance, whether they're behind on their mortgage, but there's usually a large pain piece that there's a reason why they need to get out from underneath their house. And a lot of times, a lot of houses we see as realtors, they're not maybe ready to sell today. And if they have a pain point like that, they maybe don't have the funds to be able to do that. And for me to be able to kind of walk into a house and be able to circumvent some of that and be able to put together a plan that can get them out of a house, again, it's I don't want to say it's my passion, but it's a feeling that makes me feel really good about that. I mean, one of my gifts in life is I'm able to walk into either a construction site or a real estate, but anything I walk into and I can see what the backside is supposed to look like. I can just feel it. Like I could walk into a room that's going to be remodeled and be able to picture the color of paint on the walls. I can do the same thing in a transaction, knowing like, well, this is what we need to get out. How do we get to that? And then I build the plan in reverse. And it really works well in the wholesaling, but it works great in real estate. And it's just a gift I have to be able to reverse engineer it and to be able to hopefully get you out to where you need to get in a timely fashion and, in one piece. And that's my passion.
Start with the end in mind.
Exactly.
Very cool. Well, listen, man, it was great connecting with you, brother.
Thank you.
And thanks for being here. I'm sure just that start with the end in mind is such a great way to close out this episode. So, folks, thanks for joining us. Keep being great. Be awesome. Keep living your dreams. See ya.